It might not be an all-out sprint at the beginning, but I think the field is going to break up very quickly because you have some social riders, some recreational riders in this, as well as the aspiring juniors and the masters races. So I believe this field will split up very quickly. And we'll probably see, who knows, it's hard to tell in races this short, but I think we can look for some of the juniors to take the action, to take the major places in this race. And particularly we're looking at Damain Douglas, Christian McFarlane, Bradley McFarlane, and there's one more, I'll give you his name in a minute. And for the junior females, we have Sharina, we have Malika Russell, Chantel Russell, and Sharina Gray. All of these have podiumed on the junior national championships last year, so we can expect to see one of them do pretty well. It would be very nice to see one of the ladies finish with the junior boys. That would be real nice. I think some of them have the ability to do that, but let's see how this plays out.
You said quite a few of these riders recreational as well. You think they'll be a part of the, what's the word that you use, debris?
A race this short, it's possible. It's possible. And some of these are really high-level recreational riders, and some of them are just recreational riders. So as we get better, tighter images, I'll be able to identify some of them. I don't know all of these riders, but I know most of them.
And they would come from all around Jamaica. We haven't received any indication any of these are overseas riders. I doubt it. Most of them, if not all, from Jamaica.
Yeah, I think this is 100% local field, or riders living in Jamaica. These all-comers races are always very fun to watch.
Of course, as far as the elite race is concerned, after this we'll get to see the third stage of that event. They'll be going from Witter Village to Duncan's to back for that third stage. But as far as the overall classic is concerned, it's really written in stone as to who is the overall winner.
Well, I'm not sure our viewers will be aware of this yet, but there have been some developments overnight that we're going to be bringing you up to speed on before the start of the feature race. And it has changed. Things will be very exciting, but there have been some changes overnight which we will apprise you of before that race starts. There are one of the McFarlane boys coming through to make some early moves. This is Christian McFarlane, and he should be joined very quickly by his cousin or Damain McFarlane. I don't think they'll want to see Christian get away because this little kid has the ability to ride this whole group off his wheel.
Almost like a walk in the park for him?
No, I wouldn't call it a walk in the park, but he's very, very good. He is the nephew of a former multi-time national champion and two-time Caribbean champion, Horace McFarlane. And he's part of I think he's a national coach for the junior program at the moment, and he's really bringing these kids into shape. I've seen these kids develop over the last year, and they've come from being beaten up by just about everybody to beating up just about everybody in the space of about 8 months. So really good work being done with these juniors. Both of these McFarlane boys have actually won elite races, informal elite races. We have races every Thursday over at Helsha, which is a beach community to the southeast of Jamaica. And these boys have both won that race, which is an elite race. So they're very, very high quality riders here. And I think we can expect, Donald, I think we can expect to see this race be non-stop attacks because it's so short and there's nothing to, there's no saving or no budgeting needed to be done on a race this short. So it should be action the whole way. I hope I'm not wrong on this one. I made a few calls yesterday. I didn't expect to see 15 riders coming to the line yesterday, and I was wrong on that one.
Cruising as well.
A lot of looking around here, riders trying to figure themselves out. Being that there are 4 or 5 classes in here, and I'm going to try and name them all. There's the junior class in this. There's the junior men and junior women. There's masters in this, which is 40 to 50. There are super masters in this, which is 50 plus. And there's the masters. There's the female category and the masters female category. So we have about 7 categories riding here. So it's a lot of fun to watch this. And there's a lot of prizes on the line today. So everybody is in this race is trying to figure out who their direct rivals are, because they're not necessarily racing against the winner. They're racing against their age group or their category group.
So we do expect these jostling of positions throughout the race?
There'll be jostling of positions throughout the race. And here we have, this is some early action, and I think this is a very good move. This is Domain Douglas. I think he's 15 years old now, and this is Christian McFarlane again.
Douglas is in second position, by the way.
Douglas is in second position, and his brother is in the feature race a little later on, and came, I think, 4th or 5th on day 1. Dwayne Douglas. 2 very good riders. Their father owns a bike shop runs a bike shop in Kingston, so they have bicycles in their blood.
And access to spare parts.
And raw materials and tires. They have it all. And their father is probably one of Jamaica's premier stunt riders on BMX. That's his history. Donald, I'm noticing that from those flags, the finish line is a lot calmer today, so this race is going to be a lot faster, and the headwind is probably a lot less of a factor today than it was yesterday, judging by the stillness of those flags. So awesome race conditions here. The riders will be loving this.
Of course, they wouldn't have as much tailwind as they had yesterday as well, so it wouldn't be as dramatically fast.
You'd be surprised. It might be equally as fast because they will have a much higher speed on the what would have been the headwind section. So the average won't be that much different, but it will be much more difficult for those chasing behind after the turnaround, because they won't have the assistance of the tailwind to help them close a gap. And to use a pun here, the riders behind, the other junior riders behind who want to win some prizes in this race, better get on their bike and start chasing these 2, because I don't think these 2 will be coming back.
They're leading all comers, but of course they're leading the junior segment as well. And it's good to see young people take up the sport like this. Of course, we had a few youngsters taking part in the main event, the main classic, who probably had little interest in taking part on just this 3rd stage.
That's correct, and we do have some of the riders here could have been in the elite race. A couple of these juniors in particular, I think some of them might have had school or might have had logistical problems in being able to take off all 3 days to race this. So I'm sure next year we'll see that we'll see a bigger field here. But these two up front could have definitely been riders in the elite race over the weekend. They do have the quality. And an interesting note, Donald, yesterday's results had a 14-year-old junior coming 6th overall. That's a fantastic result. 14-year-old junior Kajor Chu finishing 6th in such an elite field. He's a Montego Bay rider, and he's being trained by Wayne Smith. I think I mentioned.
Also in the race.
He's also in the race. Wayne Smith is his coach and mentor. And I mentioned yesterday, I spoke at length about Wayne's credentials, and I remember Wayne joining the sport around the same time I joined, and he's where I took breaks here and there to get married, follow a career, have children. Wayne did all of that and kept riding, where I took longer breaks. So he's a foundation of our sport, especially over in Montego Bay.
Kajor is from Montego Bay as well?
I believe Wayne was from Kingston. I think he lives in Montego Bay now.
And Kajor?
I believe Kajor is from Montego Bay. I'm learning as I go. Kajor, I've met Kajor once or twice, but I hear he's trained he lives in Mobay and trains in Mobay. I'm not sure if he's originally from Mobay.
Well, they've answered your call. The juniors, now a pack of 4.
They look to be doing business as well. We might not see any more riders come across to this group.
Well, the chasing pack not too far behind, probably just about 7 to 10 seconds behind. Let's see if they'll be able to stretch that lead over the course of the stage.
They definitely have the riders to stretch that lead. Donald definitely got the quality there.
So, chasing pack trying to close, and it seems that they're doing their endeavor best to do so, as the leaders of 4, all juniors, seeking to set the pace in this one. About 13 kilometers to go in the race.
So we're fast approaching the halfway point. And let's see if the field gets back together. I have a feeling that this move might stick, because we've got 4 very good riders out there, and some of these riders appear to be tiring now. So I would expect that this group of 4 will stay out.
Well, it's beginning to stretch now, Kynan.
It is starting to stretch. It's starting to break apart now. We're going to have because riders now are realizing that those 4, if they don't do something about it, are gone for the day. And they may still be gone for the day, but we'll have to see. This looks like 2 riders trying to get across to those 4.
Mm-hmm.
We're having some feed trouble here, so we're not able to tell you exactly who these 2 riders are yet, but we will in a moment.
It's a bit of a steady hill, this one. You can see them, they're pedaling.
It's a fall, what we call a false flat. A small rise up. The road appears to be flat, but it's just a gradual drag.
And you can see the distance where they are coming from along this drag. It probably is going to even out just a little bit now.
I stand corrected. You're right. This could be the Iberostar Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be seeing the turnaround in about 2 or 3 kilometers, and then they'll start coming back. You can see some dead legs coming over the summit of that hill. He's just decided to sit up and wait for the rest. And also happening today, Donald, over in Europe, one of the biggest races of the year, and one of my 2 favorite races of the year, the Tour of Flanders, is happening in Belgium this morning. It's happening as we speak, so we have an awesome day of cycling racing. When this is over, we can try and find the replays of Tour of Flanders. That's one of the 5 monuments of the year. Moving on, there we have Elizabeth Mondon in all white. She's our Jamaican national triathlon champion, female triathlon champion. Very good athlete. Was involved in ultra marathoning at one point, 35-mile backpack treks, ultra marathon, cross country events in over in Europe. So very, very talented and strong young lady.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we return, we'll have much more action. Welcome back to the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. As we prepare for the main race, we are taking a look at the secondary feature on this cycling card, so to speak. And it's has to do with the under 18s, the women, as well as the masters. And it's a pretty short course. And it seems as if, are they on their way back to Montego Bay?
They're still on their way out.
Still on their way out, okay.
They should be turning anywhere around here now. I think this may be actually the turnaround point coming up. And then they'll be taking a quick zip back into Montego Bay.
Still together. They are sticking together for the time being.
I'm not sure if they've reabsorbed those 4 riders that were off the front, or if they're still off the front and the chase is still on. We do have group compacto here though. Whether those 4 riders are still up front, we'd love to know. We'll find out soon enough. Juniors will want to ride this Donald. They will want to attack this field on the way back if those 4 juniors are not still out there, because some of these older guys in the Masters, they have a good sprint, so they don't want to bring some of these old guys to the line and be beaten by an old schooler.
There's some degree of pride at stake here, right?
So the youngsters will want to go out and just make sure there's nobody with them at the end, because some of these older guys, they still have a pretty mean head for sprinting, and cycling is not just legs, it's a lot of brain and positioning. So some of these old guys know how to handle themselves, old guys and girls, and you don't want to be bringing these guys to the line. So the juniors will probably try and shake this up a bit on the way back. It does appear that they've pulled those 4 riders back. I see the 2 McFarlane brothers back in the bunch there in the middle of the pack.
And they were always the danger. They were to have broken away from the rest of the pack.
Yes, I think the McFarlane boys and the Douglas, Domain Douglas, are probably the winner. I would imagine the winner may come from one of those 3. Little touch of wheels there.
Well, he's decided to take on the sidewalk.
Some good bike handling skills there to stay upright.
Well, I think he's actually pulled out.
I think that was a rider riding along on the sidewalk, and they just came up on him. Or that might have been somebody dislodged onto the sidewalk, because there was a touch of wheels there and a coming together of 2 riders, and one of them may have bounced onto the sidewalk to keep himself protected.
So we have approximately 9 kilometers to go in this race. We're about 25 minutes in now.
And here we have a move going again. And we're approaching the turnaround now, so these riders will be making the quick spin, and well, Well, I'll be shocked. This was a one-way race, Donald. I thought we were going to have, this is a 10-kilometer race, and I thought we'd have been turning around and heading back to Montego Bay. We got our facts a little mixed up there. We apologize for that. So we're going to hope we get a good replay and be able to break this back down for you.
So just here's a replay of the finish as they're heading back towards the line. And it was a bit of a sprint, wasn't it, in the end?
Yep, and I think what we're going to see here, that appears to be Domain Douglas, and we might have one of the McFarlane brothers in third, and it looks like there was somebody else in second place there, probably a master or a supermaster. We'll have to wait for clarification on that.
Well, that's the replay again.
Domain Douglas coming up on the left-hand side of our screen. And did he make it?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
He did. All right, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with more action from the Jamaica Cycling Classic.
To the world today.
We're going to leave you with the sights and sounds of the day, starting with what took place early in the day from the under-18 women's and masters, where they took a little journey that lasted about half an hour before they came across the finishing line. And of course, at the very end, when the elite men took the course and went through the town of Dunkans and came back to Montego Bay, it was a surreal experience just bringing all this to you. Absolutely magnificent to broadcast Jamaica to the world once again. We had riders from all over the Western Hemisphere taking part in this event over 3 days, and as we brought you the stages, we brought you the action, we brought you the disappointments, and of course in the end we brought you the triumphs of one man in particular, Andres Carano. You see him there in the red, was the overall leader heading into the third day and actually did magnificently well on this third stage. And of course, don't forget the story of the 14-year-old Kajor Shu out of Herbert Morrison. We reckon that he's going to be a big name. He finished fourth on the second stage yesterday, and he came today and actually finished second behind Serrano, and surely he's a name that we will not forget for quite a while. Kajor Shu, 14 years old, out of Herbert Morrison. It's been absolutely magnificent bringing this to you, the Jamaica International Cycling Classic. On behalf of the hard-working production team, I'm Donald Oliver. It's goodbye from Montego Bay.